Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadariye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. So, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bandeham Sri Guru Shitapada Kamalan Sri Guru and Vaishnavamscha Seropam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhaitam Savadotam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So is the wave. Eastern section, second wave, Sadhana Bhakti. Text number 113. Shishyadya Rabanditva Trayam Yatha Saptame Na Shishyam Abandita Grantham Na Vabhyased Bahun Na Vyakyam Punjita Narambhan Abarit Kvachit. Translation: attachment to disciples and the following two items illustrated in the 7th canto. A sannyasi must not be eager to make unqualified disciples, nor should he unnecessarily read books that disrespect the Lord or give discourses as a means of livelihood. He should not engage in big projects which distract him from his spiritual goals. So that we already discussed to some extent, but we'll just go over quickly. So Jiva Goswami's commentary is there, and there's one commentary of another Vaishnav. Mukunda, his commentary says that Na Vyakyam Upayunjita is a representative statement which indicates also learning in order to defeat others in arguments. So that the word was there, Navyakyam. And here has been translated that sannyasi, or then it is also mentioned anyone who is in a leading position. So you should not make too many disciples just for the sake of having disciples, and you should not read unnecessarily too many books, and then give discourses as a means of livelihood, or discourses just in order to defeat others in arguments. So of course one should be knowledgeable, and one should speak the truth. And for that one may have to also defeat others who are not speaking the truth as much as possible. So Jiva Goswami is explaining that that refers to sannyas dharma, but it can also apply to others. So that is a general rule. So then he's mentioning that Narada Muni, so we see examples of Narada Muni and others taking disciples, though they were not renounced. So that means they were taking disciples, although they were not renounced. But that is actually natural, because the minority of people are by nature renounced. The majority of people, they are attached to this material world. And so therefore, we have to understand the injunctions properly. But the devotees, the disciples, should be sincere in their approach of spiritual life, in following the instructions of the spiritual master, chanting 16 rounds, as Prabhupada would say, and then following the 4 regulative principles. But to expect everyone to immediately become renounced, it is not possible. And even as we know, Prabhupada, so just in order to spread Krishna consciousness, he gave sannyas to many. And he knew also, but just to encourage them, but he knew that they may not be able to remain sannyasi. Even he taught one of his disciples who told me that personally that Prabhupada said, I give you sannyas, but I know that many of you will not be able to follow. But I'm doing that so I can spread Krishna consciousness to encourage all of you. And that disciple actually, he was a nice devotee, but then he was not able to remain sannyasi. He got married. And then he had 2 children also. And then at a certain point again, when the children were grown up, so he took sannyas, he was young. And, but then he couldn't maintain. But I believe maybe almost 10 years he could maintain. But then he got married, so maybe he was 30. Then he had 2 children. And so when he was 50, 55, then he thought, well, now let me take sannyas. And he took sannyas from Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj. And then he stayed for some time sannyasi, but then again he left sannyas. So not easy to be sannyasi. So the spiritual master, so he's taking some time risk to spread Krishna consciousness. And so the sampradaya has to continue. And usually we should understand that a pure devotee, so he can make at least a few disciples who will be able to become nice devotees. Otherwise, what is his potency? If a sadguru cannot make a sad shishya. So sometimes even now the Ritvik are there and they say that Prabhupada, he didn't see anyone qualified, so therefore he didn't tell anyone to initiate. But how is this possible? That Prabhupada, such a great acharya, spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, that he could not make any pure devotee. Or even because, yes, according to Prabhupada also, so one should be Uttam to initiate, but even he may be Madhyam, he may initiate also. And we know that Prabhupada told some devotees, actually, privately and personally, to initiate. I know of 2 devotees that he told to initiate. And then others also. So Prabhupada indicated that they may initiate. Said all my devotees may initiate, of course, provided they follow the instructions very, very strictly. So that is there. So the point is that the spiritual master, so he has to spread Krishna consciousness, and so therefore he may initiate devotees, but he should. So if he's a Shakti avatar, he can initiate many, and they will get some benefit, even if they will not become successful completely, and the Shakti avatar is never hampered by that. Whereas one who is not a pure devotee or is not yet on the highest level, Naduttam Nuttam, then he may have some difficulty if he has too many disciples. So that is the point. So therefore one has to be careful. So one should only read Vaishnava literatures, and that is also understood. And that we have mentioned also last time. And so especially also one should be careful, then one should read the Srila Prabhupada's books, and if one has read Prabhupada's books, then one may read the books of the Acharyas in our Sampradaya. And then of course, but then we may read some books just in order to have also a general knowledge, in order to speak to others also, like Prabhupada said, anyone who sits on the Vyasasana, so he has to know the 6 philosophies of the six great philosophers, Vyasadeva, Jayanini, and Patanjali, and Kapil Dev, Gautam and Kanada. And even Prabhupada is writing, one should not dare sit on the Vyasasana if he does not know the 6 philosophies. And in order to defeat others, so one may have to have an understanding of their literatures and to see, and to establish our literatures, our Sampradaya. But then as explained here before in that commentary, and that Navyakyam, so one should not simply study the books, and one should not endeavor just to defeat others, going out of the way. But if we are challenged, then we may defeat others. But otherwise, just for the sake of showing that we are a great Vaishnava, there's no need. Or become like a Digvijay, as Mahaprabhu's time wanted to show that I'm the greatest scholar. And of course, Mahaprabhu defeated him because he wanted to defeat all the Navadvipvasis, and then they asked him. Mahaprabhu was bothered, he was just teaching, and he didn't care for this Digvijay, but the other scholars, they were worried. And they were worried that they will lose. So then they told Nimai Pandit, who was just 15, 16 years old, you please, there's one Digvijay and we are a little busy. So please you have a debate with him. And I said, okay, as you say. And this Digvijay, so Dig means direction, Vijay, conqueror of the direction by debate. And then, so Mahaprabhu asked him, okay, you glorify Ganga Devi. And then he did recite 100 verses, and Mahaprabhu, so he picked one verse which he recited, and he asked Keshav Kashmiri, his name was, so shall I tell you first the qualities of the nice verse or the faults? I said, what are you talking about? There are no faults in my composition. And then my Pandit very humbly said, yes, Actually, there are 5 good qualities and 5 faults. And then he pointed out the faults. And he was just devastated. First of all, how he could remember one verse. I recited them so fast, of these 100 verses. And then he was defeated because some mistakes were there. And then he was a devotee of Ganga Devi, and then he went to Ganga Devi. How come? Usually always protect me. How come now I'm defeated by this young boy? It is embarrassing. And then she told him that actually he's my Swami, he's my Lord. He's the Supreme Lord. And how you can defeat the Supreme Lord? How you can defeat my Swami? So therefore, he got defeated, or some mistake was there. To cut your false pride. Now you should go and surrender unto him, and which he did also. So there was a need of cutting his pride. And then there was another one, Digvijay, who went to Braj, and then he came to Rupa Goswami also. So please, you debate with me. Rupa Goswami, he didn't have time writing his books for our benefit. I said, okay, where is Vijay Patra? Where the devotees who were defeated would sign. He, without even arguing with him, just signed, yes, okay, he defeated me. I accept defeat. And he was happy. But Jiva Goswami was there. Young boy, 20 years or so, 25 years old or 30. He couldn't tolerate. And then he challenged that Digvijay, and he defeated him soundly. And then that Digvijay went back to Rupa Goswami and he said, your disciple, he defeated me soundly. I'm begging forgiveness from you for my impudence to approach you. And then he gave up this idea to become the conqueror of all directions. But then Rupa Goswami chastised Jiva Goswami that why did you do that? Just to showing your scholarship? Why you cannot tolerate? I didn't say anything, so why you had to become so intolerant and try to defeat that person? And he told me, go away, I don't want to see you. Of course, that is also extreme. But that is a pure devotee, and just to set the example. And then Sanatana Goswami, he was just walking by where Jiva Goswami was there at the bank of the Jamuna. And the Brijabasis were telling him, there's one sadhu doing great austerity and calling out, Gauranga, Gauranga, Krishna, Krishna, Hey Rupa. And then he understood that can only be Jiva Goswami. I haven't seen him since many days, and he went there and Jiva Goswami explained what happened. So Sanatana Goswami took him back and took care of him, and then went to Rupa Goswami and said, why do you chastise this boy Jiva? As a wonderful disciple, and he's our nephew. What is his fault? He was just offending you. And then he told Rupa, so you want to be compassionate towards the jivas. Nam ruchi divadoya. So showing that you should have nam ruchi, taste for the holy names, and show jivadoya, mercy to the jivas. And this Jiva Goswami, so he's your disciple, he's our nephew, and you just kicked him away for a small mistake. Where's your jivadoya? And so he chastised his younger brother, Rupa Goswami. And then Rupa Goswami said, okay, yes, I should take care of him, I should bring him back. And so then he came back. So of course we have to see unpleasant circumstances. And then we have to pray always to Guru Garanga, Krishna to guide us. And of course if Sri Guru is there, then we should ask guidance. What we should do in this circumstance, that circumstance. And if he's not there, then we pray to Guru Garanga Krishna. But if we are not so advanced, then it's good to also have some guidance from Shiksha Guru. So, anyhow, mainly we have to be humble, tolerant and respectful and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, today very auspicious day, Tithi, Amarasya Tithi, disappearance day of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, great Acharya, the father of Prabhupada's spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who wrote many wonderful books like Jaiva Dharma, Bhajan Rahasya, Sri Harinam Chittamani, and so on. Chaitanya Rasamrita for our benefit. And many songbooks, 4 songbooks, Gitavali, Gitamala, Sharanagati, Kalyan Kalpataru. And in these books he has given the essence of the Goswami's literatures. So just by singing these songs, hearing these songs and understanding the meaning that all the Siddhanta is there of our Acharyas in brief. The conclusion of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by singing these songs, by contemplating about the meaning that, and then we can advance nicely in our spiritual life. And one book, Sri Harinam Chintamani, in regards to the holy names, how one should chant the holy names, especially how to avoid offenses towards the holy name. And then chant with ruchi, with taste, and then by hearing Krishna's pastimes. So, according to Ashtakali Lila, Nitya Lila, according to also Prakat Lila, for hearing Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Nitya Lila, Nitya Lila, then and worshipping Guru Garanga Krishna, then we can become absorbed in nicely chanting the holy names. And then we can attain perfection. So wonderful books. And he revealed Mahaprabhu's appearance place. So we are so much indebted to him for his valuable contributions. Today is also disappearance day of Gadadhar Pandit, Gauri Shakti. So, Gadadhar Pandit is Srimati Radharani, Krishna Lila. So in Gaur Lila, because Mahaprabhu is Krishna, but with the luster and the mood of Srimati Radharani, so therefore Gadadhar Pandit, so he's actually Radharani also, so he is there to assist Mahaprabhu in relishing the mood of Srimati Radharani. So therefore Gadadhar Pandit was always humble. And he didn't see Mahaprabhu as Krishna and trying to pray. with Mahaprabhu now. But he was there in us and there to assist Mahaprabhu, assist him in relishing the mood of Srimati Radharani. So that is Gadadhar Pandit. Very special, Gauli Lesa, wonderful. Parishishta Lila. So, since time immemorial, Mahaprabhu is present in Panchatattva. That is the appendix of Krishna Lila. Since time immemorial, so that Krishna can relish the love of Srimati Radharani. And the bliss she is experiencing by seeing the wonderful qualities of Krishna. So that is a wonderful Gaur Lila. And Gadadhar Pandit was a friend of Mahaprabhu, of Nimai Pandit in Mayapur Navadvip. And when Mahaprabhu took sannyas and went to Puri, then Gadadhar Pandit followed him and also stayed in Puri. And Mahaprabhu told him to serve Tatu Gopinath and to remain in Puri the whole life and serve Gopinath, which he did also. But when Mahaprabhu was going towards Vrindavan, that he could not bear the separation from Mahaprabhu, so he left the seva, he left Jagannath Puri to be with Mahaprabhu, but then Mahaprabhu chastised him, no, you cannot do that, otherwise people will criticize me, so you stay at home. I stay in Puri and you worship Gopinath. So he was devastated, but he had no choice. And then he continued his seva. And as Mahaprabhu, when he had returned, when he stayed in Puri, so then every day he used to go and see to discuss Bhagavatam. And then when Mahaprabhu left, then Gadadhar could not bear the separation, and he became like an old man very quickly. Therefore, Tatu Gopinath, who was tall deity, felt compassionate towards Gadadhar, and he sat down. And even now he's in a sitting position. And then, so he worshipped him for one more year. But then still he could not be a separation, and he gave up this body by entering Gopinath also as Mahaprabhu. Srila Gadadhar Pandit ki, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki. So further on in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami is explaining that there is a devotee one should not feel visible and not perform degrading acts in distressing circumstances. So being undisturbed when one does not attain food or clothing, and when these things are lost, one should remember the Lord with one's intelligence. So whatever situation is there, so one should be fixed. And so Vyavahare Piyakarpanyam Yatta Padame Alabde Va Vinaste Va Bhakshyachadana Sadane Aviklabamatir Bhutva Harim Eva Dhyasmaret. So that is, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, we should not be disturbed in happiness or distress. I should always, and tolerate just like the different seasons are there. So Jiva Goswami is mentioning, so that is especially devotees practicing smaranam. So, so because in smaranam it may be sometimes a little difficult not to be disturbed. However, a devotee who is absorbed in seva will perform his seva so as good as possible. And so when he's doing his seva, he will try to obtain the items which are necessary. But if these items are not present, instead of simply remaining different to loss or lack of those items, so he will still try to get them. And then he's explaining also, so means one should try to do one seva, practical, like you worship the deities. So if somehow some items are there and they go bad, and for example, the fruits have gone bad, oh, okay, the fruits have gone bad, no problem. Let me just do without. No. So it has to get new fruits. You have bananas and you only have bananas for, oh, bananas go bad anyway, no problem. We should not be attached to loss, and we should just continue somehow with serving. No, we should get the items. In Manasya, it is difficult to get there, and one should not be distressed, and one should remain with some disruption. Next, text number 15. Shokadya savatita yatatataiva sokamasadibiyev bhavai akritam yasamasam katam tatra mukundasya spurti sambhavana bhavet. Not being controlled by limitation and other emotions, also illustrated in the Padma Purana. How is it possible for Mukunda to appear in the mind of a person whose mind is afflicted with lamentation, anger, or other emotions? So if one is not fixed, then how can Krishna appear? If one is disturbed by small things, Mukundasya spurti sambhavana bhavet. So spurti means direct appearance of the Lord, manifestation of the Lord. So that is only possible for those who are highly advanced. And so Krishna will not appear in the mind or in the consciousness of a person who is not highly advanced, who is afflicted with lamentation, anger, or other emotion. That means material emotions, because there's transcendental lamentation, there's transcendental anger, and other transcendental emotions. So that refers to those who are not advanced. So in their consciousness, he will not appear. So that is the understanding. Text 16. Anya deva nagya yatatraiva hariyeveva sadaradhya sarva deveshwareshwaraha ittare brahma rudraya navagyeya kadachana. Not respecting the devatas, illustrated in Padma Purana. One should always worship Hari, the Lord of the Master of all devatas. On the other hand, one should never disrespect Brahma, Shiva and others. That is an important point. So one should be fixed in worshipping Hari, Dev Ishwar Ishwar. So, the Lord of the demigods who are also Ishwars, but Krishna is Sarva Ishvara Ishwar. Is the Ishwar of all other Ishwaras, of the demigods. So one should respect Hari, always worship Hari. At the same time, one should not disrespect Brahma, Shiva and others. So because they are great demigods and they have to be respected. Especially Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. They are Adigurus in their respective sampradayas. They have to be respected. Sometimes devotees, they disrespect because of poor fund of knowledge, because they are not properly situated in spiritual understanding. Text number 17. Bhut anudvega daita yata mahabharate piteva putram karuno nodve jaiti yojanam vishudasya harishikeshas turnam tasya prasidati. Not inflicting pain on other living entities. That is mentioned in Mahabharata also, that pure person who does not inflict pain. So, I think we will have to stop soon. I just will do one more verse. Sevanama paradam vajanam yathavarahe mamachana parada ye kirtyante vasudemaya vaishnavena sadate tu vajaniya prayatnaha. Avoiding seva and nama parad. As illustrated in the Varaha Purana. Devotees should avoid the offenses in deity worship described by the earth at all times and with great care. So there are 10 Namaparad and at 64 Seva Parad are there. So we should try to avoid any kind of aparad. So that we will describe next time because internet is not very good here. Just in this situation, so we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, it is 5 o'clock here and it is 8:30 in Bharadvarsha. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Guru Shri Gauranga Jai Radhe Shyam Jai Bhakti Vinod Thakur Jai Gadadhar Pandit. Hare Krishna.